Welcome back. I have quite the treat for you. We all know how much Yellowstone has gripped fans. It's an immersive world of cowboy and grit and family and all the things. The final episodes, though, are airing right now on the Paramount Network every Sunday night, and we are getting a look at one part of the Yellowstone world today. We're talking about the costumes, maybe a very important part, I should say. So we have Johnetta Boone with us. Johnetta, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be a part of your segment today.
Yes. Okay. So especially here in Texas, where, you know, we have a couple of ties to the series. It's been amazing to see everything come to life. And part of that is your job. So tell us what you do specifically and what inspired you to get into this.
All right. So I'm the costume designer in Yellowstone, and my job is to dress every single person on the show, from the speaking actors to the background participants, who we also call actors. They just don't have voices. That's heard in the scenes. I would say that I very much have dreamed of being in the industry since I was young, a very wee-tot little person. But because I'm from Washington, D.C., it just didn't seem attainable. And then I got my lucky break when I moved back to the D.C. area after being in New York for a couple of decades and had the opportunity to be the assistant costume designer on Runaway Bride. Amazing. So that launched my entire career in the industry, and that was a great project to start with, of course.
Love that. So were the sneakers with the wedding dress your idea for that poster? Because that's iconic. That's iconic.
They were actually the idea of the costume designer, who was Albert Wolski on that show, and he's phenomenal. He's fantastic.
Love that. So Yellowstone, one thing I think fans relate to in that show is that it feels so authentic. We know it's happening a world away, right? But it feels like we are there. The texture, the lighting, all of the elements. Talk to us about how you get inspired, especially, on a hit show and something that people are waiting to end at this point. We're in the final episodes. How do you get inspired to go out with a bang, if you will?
Well, it's all Taylor Sheridan's writing, of course. He's fantastic. He sets the bar for us all. He sets the tone. And because he's a cowboy, he keeps everything 1,000% authentic. So what I do is I go out into the lay of the land. We have a bunch of cowboys that are actually working on the show as actors. And then I look in the environment where we're filming. We're in the heart of Montana. So it's easy to have research, to have everything at my fingertips in terms of vendors to a certain degree, and all the wares that go along with it, from the cowboy to the indigenous. So it's quite fantastic to be entrenched, and I call it immersed in the land. Yeah,
those two cultures coming together too, and how they are dressed, again, authentically, is so amazing to see. I wonder if there is a standout scene or character this season that you really enjoyed costuming as we say farewell to our Yellowstone family.
Oh my gosh.
I know,
as we say farewell, I can't even say farewell. Honestly, it's so sad. But I, of course, love Beth. I mean, she's great. She's a standout character all the time because she's the one person who has some diversity with her costumes, from being, dressed as a cowboy when she was out riding with Rip, to being a superpower woman, to being in her very soft floral prairie dresses. Mm-hmm.
Is there
in addition to that, I love dressing the indigenous cast on the crew as well, or on the in the cast and as characters. That's wonderful to do because I get to learn so much.
I wonder if someone watching goes, I really want to do that one day, what your advice would be to them, especially because, like you said, you kind of went away for a little while, came back to D.C. and got your big break that way. Is there any sort of advice you'd want to share with someone who wants to follow in your footsteps?
I would say absolutely pay attention to everything in life, because that soon becomes your research. When I was in New York, I lived in New York for 25 years. I was completely entrenched in the fashion industry. And being in the fashion industry, you can forget about what life is like, because it's all about style. It's all about what's hip. It's all about what's trendy. But you forget about the simple things. And so if you use every single person that you encounter in life, whether it's on the elevator or on the street, whether it's a homeless person or someone who's incredibly wealthy, you will find yourself pulling on those people for the characters in your shows. I remember I was in Starbucks a number of years ago, and there was a guy sitting there, and I just could not believe he had a Dutch boy haircut. And I said, who in the world wears that kind of hair? And then certainly, of course, when you're doing a show abroad, there that look comes about. And so I said, oh, or I will be able to share images that I may have been able to snag while I'm out with directors with regards to someone that's in the show, because some people you see and you think that person is not a real person. But if you have imagery that you've captured while you're out in life going about your daily duties, then you can pull upon those and share those and say, this person is a real person.
Like you said, speaking to that authenticity, I can't let you go without asking for what I'm going to call your style scripture. So if you have a piece of advice for all of us getting dressed at home, you know, I can't remember who it was. It may have been Coco Chanel that says take off one accessory before you leave the house. What's your style scripture for all of us at home?
I was, rather than take off one accessory before you leave the house, I would say give yourself permission to be who you are before you leave the house. Because so many people question their style or what it is that they're doing and wondering if it's going to be acceptable by the masses. And the truth is, it's acceptable if you say it is. So don't be at all concerned about whether or not you can wear jeans with a blazer or whether or not you can wear, like I have on, a denim shirt under a blazer. Allow yourself to have some freedom, wear color, you know, allow yourself to stand out in the crowd, to give yourself a little bit more light than what you would ordinarily have. Just allow yourself to be free. That's my one style trick.
Love that. Style Scripture by Johnetta Boone. Thank you so much.
Style Scripture, I love it.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, the woman behind every single costume you see on Yellowstone. Thank you so much for joining us for this. We'll be right back.